Hey everybody, welcome back to the Fish Tank. My name's BaddestFish80. Remember, the Fish Tank is sponsored by Sneak Energy. You can use code FISH if you wish at sneakenergy.com. Now, we've got some more tournament action for you. We're doing this live on stream, so if you're joining us live on the stream, you would have seen we already had one final that we just watched. That will be up on YouTube. We're doing another one now. We're crunching through these. We're watching them from replays, and of course with the patch on Monday, we do need to get these watched before those replays get broken by the update. Now, I am joined for the first time here on the channel by Kairuya. Kairuya, welcome.
Thank you very much.
So tell me, Kairuya, how long have you been playing Minion Masters for?
I have been playing Minion Masters for 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
I would mostly consider myself a casual player because I probably average 3 or 4 games a day, but I've been playing for a while.
So you're very experienced. What's your experience when it comes to tournaments like?
Mostly recent, and I haven't gotten very far in any of the tournaments that a lot of the rigorous players are in, but I've definitely lost plenty to the players we're going to be looking at today.
I mean, every match is an experience and a learning experience, win or lose.
True.
Okay, so this is going to be the final to 1v1 number 26. So here in the Fish Tank we have a 1v1 and a 2v2 play over time events. You get 3 days to complete each of your matches. We do those every month. So here we've got 1v1 number 26. It's going to be dragoN versus DuckWestlin. Now this is a best of 5. This is a dual elimination tournament, so there is the potential for a second best of 5. dragoN did reach the final from the winners bracket. That means he has his second life intact. So if DuckWestlin, who reached the final from the redemption bracket, is able to take the first best of 5, then that will force the second best of 5. Now, there are conquest rules for this, which means if you play a master and you win with a master, that means you can no longer play with that master anymore for the remainder of the best of 5. We've got some bans here. Hopefully these bans are correct. We've got dragoN banning Milloween and King Puff. That means his opponent can't play them. And then we've got DuckWestlin banning Wrecked and Milloween. So how do you feel about those bans, Kairuya? So just to reiterate, dragoN banning Milloween and King Puff. DuckWestlin also banning Milloween and Wrecked.
I think those are completely fair bans. Both of those players in particular are complete beasts with Milloween. Wrecked and King Puff are both just generally strong masters.
Yeah.
But
Milloween,
this is a combination of banning the best masters and also targeted bans.
Yeah, King Puff, of course, very strong at the moment since it received its changes. King Puff perk 3, very strong. Wrecked, of course, again, very strong. Just strong masters. Milloween is something dragoN plays a lot. Morelia dragoN plays a lot as well. We'll see if he gets to play that as well. Right, so this is the final of the best of 5. Let's see if we've got this set up here. Okay, so we're going to use our dual deck technology, which takes a little bit of a setup. We've got to get the replays starting at the same time, but I'm sure we have that technology. So let me just set up game number 1 here. So how do you like our dual deck technology, Kairuya? Do you think that helps from when you're watching it from the outside? It gives you a better understanding of exactly what's going on, being able to see both players' hands at the same time?
Absolutely. Last time I commentated, it was kind of weird being used to watching your tournaments and not getting to see that, because we could be going in a match and then as a commentator I'm surprised when the red golem that's been sitting on hand comes out.
Yeah, so I have the dual deck here in front of me and the stream will see that, but Kairuya doesn't see that. I'll do my best to tell you anything of importance that I see. Okay, so is your game ready on click to continue?
It sure is.
Okay, here we go. We're going to load in, guys. This is dragoN against DuckWestlin. This is the grand final of 1v1 number 26. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, let's get set up here. Right, what are we seeing?
There's a lot of tech in dragoN's opening hand, so I'm guessing there's probably a stint for the payoff. It's not all tech, so I'm guessing it's not a scrapyard deck. But Milloween and Rek, two very strong heroes right now.
This is Morelia, actually. dragoN playing Morelia. So,
did I say Milloween?
Yeah, I always get confused between the two.
Nice.
Especially since they both have
The
similar
other
skins
M
as well.
Master.
Yep. Okay, so we've seen in previous tournaments Morelia banned for dragoN. This time he's able to use exactly... Right, doesn't look like an Accursed deck though. Haven't seen much Accursed in his deck. DuckWestlin using the ATG drone to defend well. Both players just feeling each other out and their decks at the moment. But as we've seen,
Life and Frost Feathers. It's a very good trade for the ATG.
Yeah, and as we've seen before, dragoN's just bridge control so strong. He's got himself into a little bit of an XP lead early here, and there, as you mentioned, the stint being used to grab that top bridge without having to use anything on that lane. Grenadier, of course, there wouldn't be a dragoN deck without the Grenadier. He's using the Once Bidden. Unfortunate there that the Spirit dropped on the Wrecked Walker. Once it's changed into the Wolf, there is no benefit to that. But some face damage coming out early here. Both players playing the Once Bidden, but still dragoN got that XP lead. Okay, so perk 2.
There's a fairly substantial XP lead for dragoN. Although Wrecked is kind of like Ratfo in the sense where there's a lot of incidental bridge control, so that may not continue the more Shadow Dances end up in the DuckWestlin deck.
And the way that spirits are working at the moment is, unlike you used to just you didn't care what you got a spirit on. Now you want spirits on units with high HP, and you can see that Brother of the Burning Fist getting huge benefit from that spirit. That's exactly what dragoN wanted to get it to land on. But here, this is some big face damage coming out. That Brother has got so much HP. It's not even into that extra spirit HP yet, and it's still shredding the face. dragoN doing massive face damage here. ATG drone goes down. This Brother's on the face. This Brother could clear it. Wrecked is not at home. 100 HP left. DuckWestlin in all sorts of trouble at the moment.
I don't think, besides Frost Feathers, dragoN has any direct HP, but he's going to have to spend so much extra time committing to the health that that's probably going to let the bridge control fall apart. And then would he be able to survive against a dragoN at that point?
DuckWestlin seems in all sorts of trouble at the moment. That push just did so much damage. That spirit just kept that Brother alive for so long. And again, Wrecked not at home. ATG drone's going to DPS, but he's going to have to start tanking this on the Wrecks. Just doesn't have enough to get in the way here. Can he keep this Wolf from killing him? No, he can't. Ooh. dragoN taking a pretty quick 1-0 lead there. We saw the power of the Spirit, and as I mentioned, the Spirits, they're not like they used to be. You used to just drop them on whatever you wanted, but now the way the Spirit gives the percentage of the HP, you want it on a high value unit, a high HP unit, and that Brother of the Burning Fist was so tanky. And it just sat there underneath the ATG drone, just wailing away. And of course, one of the negatives of Wrecked is once you jump out into the field, Wrecked is no longer at home. So therefore, you lose that ability, that master defense ability, and that was just what allowed that attack to just do so much damage. Goodness me!
It was a very well executed push for sure.
Yeah, he knew what he wanted to do. You could see the way dragoN spawned his units, and he used the spellbook to drop the spirits. He didn't have any potential for a spirit to drop on a unit that wasn't going to be beneficial. He had the Brother of the Burning Fist out, he had the Curse Bearer out, and that's exactly where he wanted the spirits to drop, and that is exactly where they did drop. Okay, so we're going to get set up here for game number 2. I'm not sure. I don't think DuckWestlin will be too happy with how that first one went. It just seemed like a huge push, did most of the damage, and then it was just over by that time. But not really. You wouldn't say it was anything to do with any mistakes or anything. It was just that Brother just being too tanky, and just trying to tank that on face just wasn't enough.
I think the only improvement that could have been made was the ATG just kept getting nailed by the Frost Feathers lethally, so blocking the drain life so that the ATG could survive the Frost Feathers. Kind of like blocking a Daka by having a tank or just something a little closer to the enemy Master Tower.
That's one of the things you've got to pay attention to when you're playing against Morelia. It's a very good point, that always have in your head that they have that life drain. And of course that life drain is great for healing, but it's also great for killing stuff. And it might not kill something on its own, but that extra damage that it does can be used in conjunction with other spells to kill things like the ATG drain. And of course that's going to attack the closest units, so if you're paying attention to it and it's in your mind, then you can keep, hopefully if you've got the ability and the cards available, you can keep other stuff in front of the important units that you're trying to keep alive. Just another thing you've got to pay attention to, and it's just these little things at the top level that can take your game to the next level. Okay, I've started that game a little early. Let me just restart this. A little too eager beaver. Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's just set this up. Okay, Cash, were you able to send me those screenshots yet? The devs are interested to find out about that as soon as possible. Right, okay, here we go. We're going to go into game number 2. dragoN is leading 1-0. Here we go. We're going to count down. We're going to go 3, 2, 1, and go.
It's Minion Masters!
Okay. Diona against Volko.
This seems to be a similar deck, at least to start out of dragoN. Although, like in the last tournament, big fan of Cycle this patch.
Yep. So DuckWestlin's gone for Volko. He's got the Cage Prowler, but the Frost Feathers are going to shut that down. I think they do enough damage on their own to shut that down. It needs 130 damage. So that's going to be a good interaction for dragoN to keep doing. The Frost Feathers are slower now, so if DuckWestlin does have some things available, he can potentially... he needs to interrupt some of them.
I think this is the same deck. Although it's a very versatile deck, so I'm not like that surprised to see it.
So DuckWestlin has the Unholy Ground, which you can use to keep... Oh, he's used it already. You can use... Oh no, sorry, that's the Flyby. You can use that to keep the Cage Prowler alive. We'll see if he goes for it. He could do it here. He could do it here. He could do it here. He could... There he goes. Okay. Boom. Brings them down. Grenadier. That's beautiful. Okay. That allows the Prowler to spawn, but the Prowler just doesn't really get much change out of that interaction. That Brother's so tanky with the Holy Fire it drops. Just
I think it won him the bridge because it managed to kill the Brother, but I don't know if that was worth it.
Yeah, you're expending the mana for the Cage Prowler, then you're using your Unholy Ground, and it all adds up. Again,
one thing I was going to comment on last game is I was surprised to see the Flyby, because I kind of only see it these days in the meta to deal with specifically like Bounty Sniper. But this game, he also has the Bounty Sniper as a valid target.
Yeah, I mean, both players playing Flyby, and Flyby's one of the spells that became more popular because when all the spells got nerfed, it didn't. And in fact,
not in its damage.
It got buffed a little bit.
I think it moves a little slower than it used to, right?
Yeah,
so you have more time to react.
Yeah, they did slow them down, so overall it does do more damage, but there's more chance of the Frost Feathers getting removed by something. But again, XP is in dragoN's favour.
That's true, though. Ruffles is definitely a worse perk 2 than Bridge Embers, giving Rage. So if there was a time for this game to start turning around, I would guess that to be now.
Yeah, I think the problem DuckWestlin has is he doesn't have a good counter for this Brother. The Brother with the Holy Ground, the Holy Fire it drops to heal itself and damage units around it, makes it really difficult to deal with, and it just prolongs its existence. And here we see a lot of face damage coming out. A lot of face damage coming out. DuckWestlin dropping down to 360 HP. dragoN almost at perk 3. That's going to be his second trap available. Westlin's back's really against the wall here.
And this one's scary because even though there isn't much burn in the hands of Diona, she does have the crossbow trap, which could finish him off in 18 shots right now.
See, dragoN letting that stuff, just let him face tank. He's taking some damage. But he's got a lot of HP, but he needs to be careful he doesn't overdo it. That Prowler wasn't raged, so that was something that wasn't too terrible. Again, that's aimbot pushing behind, and the slow comes down. This is just going to be too much. The Cage Prowler's just getting countered every time. We saw he used that Unholy Ground at the start to try to keep it alive, but it was such a minor investment that, and it didn't. The dog really didn't get any value. 10 HP left. We're going to see a trap on face here.
We're probably right now.
There it is. dragoN takes the second game, 2-0. Volko's plan with the Cage Prowler again. That flyby. As soon as DuckWestlin would have seen that flyby, his heart would have sunk because he knows that it's going to be so difficult for that Cage Prowler to spawn. And if he's going to keep that Cage Prowler alive, keep it spawning, he knows he's going to have to spend a lot of mana to do so. And you get to the point where it would have been better just to play a Prowler rather than the negative of the Cage Prowler and the extra mana you have to spend to try to keep it alive, keep it to spawn.
True.
So dragoN racing into a 2-game lead here. dragoN, to remind you, did come from the winner's bracket, so he, if he does take this, if he does make this 3-0, he will take the tournament in very quick fashion. But DuckWestlin can fight back. We've seen some very strong decks.
He'd have to win 3 games in a row.
He does, yeah. It's all to play for now for DuckWestlin. No margin of error. But we've seen these good players pull these returns out time and time again. But DuckWestlin, if he's going to do it, he needs to start doing it now. Otherwise, dragoN's going to close this out very quickly. And we're just getting set up here for game number 3. Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go, guys. We're loading into game number 3. dragoN is 2-0 up against DuckWestlin. 3, 2, 1, go.
Minion Masters!
Apep versus Volko.
Start pressing the buttons, do something!
Okay.
The biggest twist that this matchup adds is Volko can deal a tremendous amount of face damage in a short time, but Apep, if it is only for a short time, can completely negate that if his perk 2 is up.
Yeah, that shield very strong. Here we see some decent early damage coming out. dragoN dropping down already. Okay, so he's using, again, the Unholy Ground. Looks like DuckWestlin is playing the same deck. But here we see the Unholy Ground was nice, kept the sniper alive, and the sniper can really help him to keep in this. So,
there are differences to this deck. Beam of Doom and Defenso Chopper.
Yeah, dragoN definitely has some different plans here.
Wildcarded Stint is exceptional for bridge control.
Yep, so of course wildcard's not allowed in this tournament, but sometimes from the Apep's perks that does happen. That's a decent beam. Didn't really have better ways of dealing with that. He had Horde for the Prowler, but the Horde wouldn't play nice with the Incubus. So he took the next best, or probably the best solution there, and just beamed it to death. So dragoN does have the flyby again, so he does have the counter potentially for that Cage Prowler. Now Westlin needs to get that Prowler out and needs to get it raged and Berserker raged ultimately and try to get some big value from it.
XP is a lot closer this game than it has been, and I think that's mostly due to the Bounty Sniper. I think the first one gave 10 XP.
Yeah, we see this bounty
Maybe
sniper
more.
surviving a lot more than it did in the previous game. Here comes the flyby. It's trying to shut down the Prowler. Again, using the unholy ground. Very nicely done. And the sniper can't get a hit off. Every time it tries to attack, something dies and it has to reset its attack. But again, here comes the beam. Okay, that's a good shutdown.
Something funny there is the birds took the bottom bridge because the unholy ground just barely locked it on the bridge radius.
Exactly. Get
So
around the...
it's like an incredibly minor misplay, but that can matter.
Yep, these little things help. But XP is very close in this one. dragoN's still ahead, though. There we see the shield being used. Flyby coming in, trying to shut down the sniper. And there we go. Sniper gets shut down. Westlin needs to get a bit of a push going. Get on the bridge. Get some stuff raged. And here we see the Tranquil Monkey. He's going to heal out of this. That's basically a free unit there. That was almost dead. Shockrock a little bit late there. The idea there was the Shockrock was to stop the Marines attacking so that DuckWestlin's surviving Marine could finish them off, but unfortunately the Marine died just before the Shockrock landed. And here we see the double stint coming from perk 1. This is... Okay, the dog just spawns, so that's decent, but it's not going to have a good time against the Defenso Chopper.
And certainly not able to take that bridge.
Perk 3 now for dragoN. Let's see, I didn't quite see what his free card was. Let's wait for him to
Cannon
cycle.
roller.
Oh yes, of course, there it is, I see it. It's immediately on the screen. The cannon roller. It's going to be, you know, it's going to be useful. It's not going to be great against the sniper. The Prowler's going to do okay against it if that ever happens. But it's just another unit on the field. And here we see DuckWestlin trying to get to that perk 3, but that Defenso Chopper is so strong against these melee units. Again, the Shockrock there doesn't quite hit what he wants. The cannon roller just keeping the pressure on. Cage Prowler's going to get some aggro. No, it's not. Beam comes in, kills it just in time. Bit of face damage as well, but the Prowler dying is good. Keeps that cannon roller uncontested at the bottom.
I think Cannon Roller was a great pick here. There's no real flying units to quickly kill it.
So perk 3 for
And
Volko.
it's
So
really good at dealing with the Tranquil Monkey.
So the melee units are rage, or Berserker rage, and you can see that Defenso Chopper going down much more quickly at the top there with the bridge burn and the ranged units on it. But dragoN ultimately ahead on XP, and we had a discussion in the chat about Mana Frenzy. Is it a good mechanic? And we'll see here if dragoN's... If it plays out like we think it is, dragoN's going to be rewarded for his better bridge control. Get to that Mana Frenzy first, and that could be his win condition here. Flyby again coming in, uncontested. Shuts down the Prowler. Prowler, if that takes 130 damage, it won't spawn. So I think you only have to kill one of the flyby units to stop it shutting the Prowler down.
That tower looks pretty roughed up.
Okay, this is some face damage coming out. dragoN looking to close out this tournament. He's 2-0 to up. This is 2-0 up, sorry. This is game number 3. This could close it out. He's about to get Mana Frenzy. He does have Mana Frenzy. Westlin needs to do something now. Needs to get back into it. That Bounty Sniper can be great, but he's a long way behind. And he's going to have to hold these
He could keep
bridges.
2 Bounty Snipers alive. I think that would do it, but I don't know if anything less than that would do it.
It's going to be very difficult because his opponent's going to be able to cycle through to the
I'm expecting this top one to get beamed.
Yeah, he's got the beam or the flyby, and he's going to be able to cycle more quickly now with the Mana Frenzy. So he's going to have his counters out more quickly. There we go, the beam. Beam does 150 damage to face now, but this is going to be too much. dragoN is going to take this by 3 games to 0. That is wham bam. Thank you, ma'am. dragoN beats DuckWestlin by 3 games to 0 in this best of 5. This was dragoN coming from the winners bracket, so no second life for DuckWestlin in this scenario. That he just gets fully shut down, and dragoN takes it. Really just bridge control being rewarded, as we've seen time and time again. Bridge control, just general control, is a very strong strat, and that was over pretty quickly. Kairuya, how did you see that?
That was the first 2 matches in particular. I thought it was It's better play with a positive deck matchup. So, just a very overwhelming presence. That third one, I almost think that they should have taken the Caged Prowler out of the Volko deck because of how efficiently it was getting shut down.
Yeah, the Prowler is great unless your opponent has good ways of dealing with it, and we've seen that sometimes someone has a counter for it, sometimes someone has multiple counters for it, and if it's getting shut down every time, it's really frustrating. You're just using mana for nothing, and as we spoke about, you can use the Unholy Ground to potentially save it from the flyby, but that's just more mana you're throwing at it, and just being inefficient with mana in this game is really... That's how you end up falling behind on bridge control. If you're just using your mana inefficiently, not getting the trades, and dragoN just able to always have his foot on DuckWestlin's throat, always ahead on XP, and as we've seen many times, just able to get to that mana frenzy first. And I mean, if you're already controlling the game, that mana frenzy is just going to give you that extra ramp to close the game out. But very well played to dragoN, very well played, of course, to DuckWestlin, our finalist as well. But congratulations to dragoN, you are the 1v1 number 26 champion. So congratulations, enjoy your prize money. Remember, these tournaments are sponsored by Beta Dwarf, the developer. Big shout out to them, thanks to them for supporting these events. Now, I don't know if you've got any last words that you would like to share with us, Kairuya?
I can't think of any. I'll throw them in chat if I do.
But yeah, it's always good to see these good players, these top players. We're always learning little things, little ways to improve our game. dragoN, of course, very, very good player. DuckWestlin there and thereabouts in many tournaments, time and time again. So these players playing this game at the top level. But yeah, big shout out to everyone involved in the tournaments, in front of the camera, behind the games. Thanks to everyone playing. Thanks to my admin team. To DefShoot and to Anno and to Todd Life. You guys are doing a great job helping me run these tournaments, so I appreciate you guys. And yeah, that's it. Another tournament has finished, but if you're interested in any competitive action in these play over time events where you get 3 days for each match, check out, come join the Fish Tank Discord, come join the Twitch, find out about the Mini Masters Discord. There's always tournaments going on. Get involved. They're available. They're open to people of any level. They're lots of fun. They're a great way to make friends within the community, help support the community by being part of it, as well as learn from potentially players that are better than you. You might, if you're a new player, you might get stomped if you come up against a former champion, but you're probably going to learn a lot. You'll have some decks that you can maybe learn from as well. But yeah, thanks so much for spending time here in the Fish Tank, sponsored by Sneak Energy. Use code FISH if you wish at sneakenergy.com. This is Bad as Fish 80 signing out.